continue working on the bear riders. What I'm going to do for the bear mouths here is just do a very small, very tight dry brush. For the most part, as I think I've mentioned before, I'm not going to dry brush or wash the models themselves, especially the characters. I mean, the bears already had their dry brushing. That's what gives them the nice fur texture. But the mouth area, it's probably a bit hard for you to see such a small area, but the mouth area itself is very, very clean at the moment. And that's not what I want. Like, it's a mouth of a bear. It should look somewhat like dirty and not inviting. So what I'm going to do is I've got this dark brown colour from Montmartre called Burnt Umber, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a dry brush around it to mess it all up a bit, which is messed up in a good way, so it's not clean. It looks pretty good for the teeth. Cool. Kind of hard to see the detail. I'll do a close-up on the iPhone when I'm done. But yes, that's exactly the sort of effect I was going for. Make it look like an actual living creature that eats things and is scary to look at in the mouth, rather than just, wow, that's so clean and pristine. But very, very, very light. Very lightly done, because if, like, you actually dunk that in the paint and paint it, you'd just be painting over what you've done, so you defeat the purpose. So it's a very light dry brushing technique, and I don't mean pressing light, I mean a very light amount of paint on the actual brush itself, and you kind of wipe it off. Like, if you look at now, it's actually got nothing on it because it's all come off. So when I put it on, all that's coming off is just a little bit, just a little tiny bit of light brown texture and highlights to kind of dirty it up. The time has come to put these bear rider models together for their final parts. So we've got the shield part for the smaller of the two, and we've got the long spear for the bigger. So the detail painting on the bears are pretty much like 99% done. I will do a final check and kind of do any final little touch-ups. But the riders themselves, the skins only had one coat, so they will need a second coat just to remove some of the dark features. But before I do that, I just want to get it all together. Oh, there's actually something, a bit of prime from one of the other models has come off onto the red there. So anyway, I'll fix that sort of stuff once they're all glued together. So defaulting to my usual Sky Grip 16. Try not to have this go all over the desk. Sometimes you get a little bubble that dribbles out that you don't want. I have I have played around with like putting this stuff into a squeezer bottle, because these types of tubes, I find it's very hard to get an exact precise amount where you want it and no more. And this stuff is very stringy, so but it didn't unfortunately really work very well. Okay, so with this stuff, Sky Grip 16, you just need it in place for about 60 seconds. It is kind of like super glue. It is stringy. It does have a little bit of play with it. Okay, and same for the spear. Put the cap on this time so it doesn't go everywhere. With this glue, you want to hold it in place for roughly 60 seconds or so. It works effectively the same as like super glue, but for PLA plastic. So you kind of put it on and hold it, and then it's pretty much good to go. I might put this in an area just where the spare tip is supported. It should hold, but always best to just kind of let it rest without any stress on it. And always good when you haven't stuck your finger. How's that bottle? That bottle's not too far off actually what I need. Yep. About there. So they're getting close to finished, which is always nice. So the sword and shield lady, I've attached her shield, so that's now in place. And with the spear barbarian warrior, I've just supported the spear for a bit. The glue is kind of like super glue, so it does stick pretty quickly, but then you kind of leave it in place for a while to harden up. So just supporting it while that hardens up so that the spear tip is nice and solid when I take it off.